What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate y'all for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I have a special guest in the building today, um, all the way from Chicago. Hopefully, she's nice and comfortable. I want to introduce to my audience, as you guys already know her, she's no guest to you, or the Lapeef Network, Crimson Cure. Thank you for coming through, Crimson.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate being here. Yes, I am comfortable to answer the question. Everything has been awesome. I'm just glad to be here and be a part of this wonderful panel because y'all don't see it, but the vibe is awesome here.
It's
So I'm
warm
glad.
enough in here. It's warm
Yes, it
enough.
is. Yes, it is. Cozy.
So, as usual, you know what we do. We talk about everything across the spectrum and anything that intersects with it as far as relationships, how it is that we move within gender roles, politics, whatever it is that comes along with it. But this is grown folks' conversation. So we don't get into any of the fights, the back and forths. We have spirited conversations, but at the end of the day, we all love each other and we all about respect, right? But I want to introduce this a little bit differently by going with a current event. So earlier today, I was looking at an article because I had did a live stream probably 2 or 3 days ago, right? And it was based off of Ohio State players, right? And there was some Ohio State players back in 2020 that had been removed from the football team as a result of being accused of rape, right? It was a young lady, and I'm gonna just give y'all a little bit of context so that y'all can understand where it is that we going. It was a young lady that got invited or picked up from one of the Ohio State football players back to his apartment. He went and picked her up from her dorm. She went back to his apartment. Him and his teammate, obviously, you know how it is in college. So usually, if you're in a dorm or you're in an apartment, you got somebody that's standing there with you. So it's obviously another teammate. She came over. Apparently, well, I'll save that part for last. She came over. They did whatever it is that they did. He dropped her off back home. She went to the police station, I believe either the same day or the day after, and accused him of rape, right? They went on trial, and then during the trial, what we found out was that the team, or at least this is what the student said that was accused because they were kicked off the football team and everything, like life is ruined. The team, according to him, said that they encouraged them to record consent. They encourage the players to record with their mobile devices consent, right? They showed it, they revealed it, and they were found not guilty, right? But their lives is already is what it is, right? And so now that they're found not guilty, I want to kind of mine this out from a couple different ways before we get into the relationships and everything like that. What is everybody's thoughts about just everything that was presented based off of how it is that I communicated to you guys in the first place? I'm gonna start with Vern.
Ohio State owed them some money.
You think Ohio State owed him some money?
Ohio State owed them some money.
Why is
A
that?
lot of money. Not some. A lot of money. You ruined them dudes' lives over this. And they got recorded consent and it's been proven in court that they are innocent.
Mm-hmm.
They can't go play football. You just stopped a football career, a potential NFL career. How do you? I mean, the money ain't gonna restitute everything, but y'all owe them. Ohio State University owe them boys a check, a big check.
It was defamation of character. You know?
So let me ask y'all a question: and is it Ohio State's fault problem, or is it the woman? Well, okay. Well, let me ask it this way, and then
It's
we can go.
both.
I want to come to Crimson, and then we're gonna go popcorn style, whatever it is, however it goes, right? Is it the woman's fault? Is it Ohio State's fault? And is there anything that should happen to the woman as a result of them being found not guilty? So I want to come to Crimson. I want to get your thoughts on it, love, and then play it from ear by ear.
It's definitely on her. It's definitely on her, especially if they have recorded consent, which is, I think, smart, what men need to do now because it's so easy to go to the authorities, whoever the authorities are, whether that's the staff of a school or whether that's the police or whomever you're going to reach out to, it's easy to just accuse a man or men of some type of sexual misconduct or some type of assault, whether it's true or not. Ohio State is going to protect Ohio State's interest. So if those young men are accused, Ohio State as an entity does not have any other choice but to dismiss them immediately from the football team. Because if they don't do that, now the spotlight is on Ohio State for potentially protecting predators
Mm.
or protecting um, men who are, assaulting women, regardless of whether it's proven true or false. They have to do that, just like any other company or whatever would fire you, or they would put you on some type of probation. You can't continue to just go on like this accusation isn't happening until it gets cleared. Now, something should happen to everybody, every woman who lies and either admits that she lied or is found to have lied about assault should receive, in my opinion, the same jail time that the men served or could have served minimum sentence. She got to serve that because you have to deter the lying. It's difficult enough for people to come forward, male or female, to say that they've been assaulted in that way and to have people to believe it, because sometimes you can't really prove that. It's my word against their word, especially if there was no other witnesses or there was no other nothing else. So sometimes that's difficult to prove anyway. And so then to compound that with people who want to come out and just lie for whatever reason they're doing that, it muddies the water. Now everybody got to get a side eye. So that whole hashtag believe women, that's out the window, because we can't do that, because we've got too many over the years that have been found to be completely fabricating the entire story. So you can't believe that. So it's just like, okay, to deter that, y'all are gonna have to start serving some time, paying some fines. Y'all are gonna have to start getting no more, oh well, she just lied, let her go. Let her go for what? So she can ruin somebody else's life? That's not a light accusation. And I'm gonna land my plane. It's not a light accusation. It can completely turn the trajectory of somebody's life around for the worse, especially if it's a lie. So
What do you think about that, Jess? I seen you nodding a little bit. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm just processing where we think consent happens. So before the act, yes, we can record consent, but during the act, what happens if you say or do something that makes someone uncomfortable and they no longer want to pursue the sexual encounter with you? Do they not have the right to withdraw consent? So I do think that having evidence or proof of consent is great, but I also know that there's nuance there. And then I also wonder about um, where the responsibility falls. As someone who has been the victim of rape, I don't joke about that. I don't think that that's right or ethical to ever make a lie about it. I do think that the responsibility, I was agreeing with Crimson around, like, it makes it that much harder to be believed when you come up with your story. And more people are not actually sharing or disclosing. There's more people who don't report their rape than do. So the fact that you would lie in that process is criminal to the people who are living with that for the rest of their lives. But yeah, I was processing, like, where does consent happen? When do we, and can it be revoked?
I think that that's a phenomenal question. And this is why I want to pose it to my hitter, Lance. Um, because right, the reason why I think that that's a really interesting question is because during the act, right, and we all grown, right? Everybody in this room, I'm assuming, and had sex and been married, whatever, so on and so forth, right? During the act, there's a difference between the type of behavior or role play or foreplay or she said she wanted, but that was just a part of whatever it is that we was doing and so on and so forth. Or she said that she didn't want it, or she said no, but she really meant yes, and all of this other type of stuff, right? And it's a big gray area, I think, that I believe men, because I don't really think that men are the ones that say, "Oh no," and then unless you're me, because I'll be trying to get away, and then Rita is a whole other thing, right? Whole other conversation. She over there laughing right now.
Yeah.
However,
this shit ain't over, nigga.
At all.
But I mean, it's a big gray area that is left to the interpretation of the jury or those or the judge or whoever it is that's determining the fate of whoever is being accused. Lance, in your opinion, what do you think about Jess's question about consent, and how does that play out when it comes to the times that we live in, and even with regard to this story with the Ohio State players?
Like, when I heard when you was explaining the situation, I thought about that. Cause I know it's times where I done fucked up the pussy. Like, it was going down, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm getting ready, it's about to,
It's real.
gotta go to the crib. Then I came in and said some dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? And she like, nigga, what? And I'm sitting there like, damn, why I say that dumb shit? You know what I'm saying? So it happens. You know what I'm saying? You can fuck up the pussy. Like,
Hey, no,
niggas
that's
will
real.
fuck up the
We
pussy and be mad at the chick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like, damn, I
That's never
fucked that
happened
shit
in your
up.
life.
I ain't land.
Listen.
Sometimes niggas don't land the plane. But to be in a situation where you get on tape and be like, yeah, I'm with it, I'm ready. That's like, he ain't about to fuck this up. You know what I'm saying?
I got a nuanced question in that.
Go ahead.
For the consent part, was it a recorded video, or was it like
I believe it was either it was a recorded video or it was audio.
Okay.
Either way, it was recorded on the phone.
But that's dumb, because if she's scared, of course she gonna consent to the video. So like, they shouldn't even have told them to go ahead and do it like that.
I mean, but if the allegations ain't, they tied me up and this, that, and the other, and you know what I'm saying? Because like, if
you was on your own free will.
if you
Yeah,
on your own
no.
free will,
I'm not buying the scared, because it's like they came to pick you up to bring you to the spot. So at some point you grown as a woman. So it's
But
like
were
if they
athletes?
talking to you, you know what's going down. Or if you don't know what's going down, it's up to you to ask them questions. What's about to go down? Like, what am I agreeing to? What am I saying yes to? Am I saying, did I say yes to the one guy, but when I got there it was like 20 dudes? You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. And if they're all saying that they recorded you saying yes to, once you got there, once you saw the lay of the land, and you was still like, yeah, okay, and you was still doing that. So now, if we're gonna ask questions about, well, what if you could withdraw consent later? Now I got to videotape the whole thing. I got to
Might as well.
videotape you the entire way through, and I don't care if you uncomfortable with the videotape. So it's either we videotaping the whole thing, or you got to go right now.
I feel like that would be better than just videotaping just the consent, because peer pressure is a motherfucker. So if she got there and she was thinking like just dumb and naive, oh, these football players, they owning me, whatever, I'm in over my head. I get there, I'm thinking I'm going here for a good time, but I'm too scared to back out now, and I don't want to say it or sound like a punk. So it's like, I feel like at that point, like, you'll feel like you cornered into a wall, and then you end up in a situation and you're like, dang, I should have, said something and I didn't.
but that still ain't rape though.
And it's not rape, but then it's drinking involved too, like you said. So you got to think about that, because that kind of blurs everybody's decisions, actually.
Because
What blurs everybody's decisions?
When you keep drinking, So I've seen they say a lot of situations happen when you're drunk, and they don't make it right, but it's like they do dumb shit.
Yeah.
Men and women, So,
but that don't make it rape though.
Yeah, it don't make it rape, but it still don't make it right. But it's like, it's technically not rape.
But then
Like,
you got some situations where some women have been drinking, and then the guys take advantage of her because she's there at the party drunk.
That's true.
And her friends left her for whatever reason. She woke up sore, and don't know what happened.
See, now that's right.
fucked up.
Now,
But see,
yeah,
that's
I'm-
right. When if you messing with somebody that's just clearly gone, that's ridiculous.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
crazy.
You shouldn't even want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been plenty of times, you know what I'm saying? We have some drunk nights, this, that, and the other, and the wife sleep or whatever. I'm not about to hop on top of her,
Right,
while
like
she,
that's-
you know what I'm saying? That's disgusting.
That's creepy.
And if you like that shit, fuck you. You know what I'm saying?
Tell them again, like
right? But it is a thin line, and I don't think Ohio State, like, I don't care what crime you get accused of. If you in college or school like that, they gon' say, look, man, you gotta chill until everything clear up. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think Ohio State did the wrong thing.
They got kicked from the school, didn't they?
I know they got kicked off the team. I didn't read whether or not they got kicked off.
I mean,
kicked
they
from
probably
the school.
got suspended. Like,
I have no idea.
But
like,
did
if
they
you
get their
get
scholarships
accused,
back?
right?
They couldn't get that stuff back. Like
They probably can. They should be able to.
Well, no, not
I don't think
necessarily
they-
because I
I
don't
don't
think
think
the
they
Duke
would.
lacrosse team, when they got accused from the chick, and then it wound up turning out that she was just saying it for the sake of trying to save face because she didn't want to, come out and look like she was a slut. Technically, you know what I'm saying? The Duke lacrosse team, they whole season, everything. I mean,
Right,
you
'cause
can't
you
undo
get that time back.
Yeah, you can't undo whatever it is
That's
it's
what I'm
like.
saying. That chick is old. I'm good with homegirl going to jail. I'm good with her paying her fines. Those fines don't go to those gentlemen that have lost football scholarships. Those gentlemen that had some potential shot at going to the NFL, that's barred now. So you telling me that the trajectory of a man's financial life, not the more, I'm cool with the moral side. The moral side, his financial life has been severely hindered based off of that. And who's gonna give him restitution at that point?
They gotta sue her. And
But that's
she ain't got shit.
and that's really not even gonna happen. That's if they try to sue her,
usually
it's
when
not
you
gonna
can't-
fall in
usually
their
when you
favor.
can't sue the person, who do you end up suing? The institution that ends up taking away all of your stuff because
They couldn't have
they stepped in
taken it away
they-
from him.
Well, go ahead.
So I worked in higher education administration and I handled Title IX investigations. And if the investigation turns out false, they can't take that from that student. So
They can't take their scholarships.
yeah, no, is that the outcome of this case?
So I know that they were kicked off of the football team.
Okay.
I know that I don't know.
They've
to what
probably
extent.
violated something within the code of conduct other than this allegation. There was probably something that they did that was against the school's rules. It wasn't just this allegation.
For the sake of conversation, and I don't know, I'm sure y'all know more than me, but let me just ask the question. Isn't that up to the university or the football team or the athletic department or whatever like that to determine, because it's all at will, right? Like you're not owed a scholarship and it could be removed or it could be added according to the will of the university specifically, depending on whether or not they believe that you're aligning with whatever it is that they, stand for as an institution, as a university, or even a football team itself, right? And so if I'm not mistaken, I don't really think that they have rights to determine whether or not they should or shouldn't be there, or they should or shouldn't have a scholarship, regardless. Simply because it's up to the the university itself to determine whether or not they want to rock with you, regardless of whether you was accused or not. If they believe that it paints them in a bad light, they have basically all the tools at their disposal to determine whether or not, even me, let's just say, for example, I'm working in corporate America and I'm the face to a larger extent of a department or a company or whatever, so on and so forth. Not a union worker, I'm at will. Literally, you're at will employment, whether or not you're a contractor or you're an employee of the company itself. They have the ability to be able to remove you or keep you, depending on how they feel. They could just not like the way that you represent the company tomorrow, and they could remove you.
Adidas
So I'm not
and
really
Kanye.
sure that the players themselves have any real recourse against the university itself based off of the accusations that was made against them. I don't know.
Because that speaks to the culture of a company or organization or whatever they say their values are. So if they say their values are A, B, and C, and even if you were wrongly accused of something that completely is opposite of their values, they don't want to be associated with you, especially if you are a public face. You're not just somebody in an office somewhere, don't nobody know who you are. Yeah, you can continue your job, whatever. But if you are someone that's in the camera that someone's going to focus on and you're associated with this organization, in this case Ohio State, let's say these are popular football players on the team, so they're going to be in the interviews, they're going to be focused on whether I don't care how many touchdowns, I don't care what you was doing. And unfortunately, even though you're proven innocent, it's the accusation itself is against the values of the school as stated. So like Anton said, it's like, and it's so unfortunate because it's like if I get proven innocent, then my life should go back to the way that it was. But unfortunately, life is not fair. So it's not going to go back. And your reputation, regardless, is always going to be tarnished with that.
That goes where people get accused of rape or whatever, and they didn't do it, and like you said, people still look at them in that magnitude, even though they've been clear, and it's just like they have defamation of character forever. It's like a character assassination. It's not fair because you maybe didn't rape that girl, and people still look at you like a rapist because it was a big case on TV, and they life forever changed. That's the sad thing. Super sad.
Well, that begs the question, though, right? Because we exist in an environment in 2023 that is based off of what it is that we've been seeing play out over the last 5 to 10 years, right? You had the Me Too movement. You had Believe All Women. You had a lot of guys that were accused that were just automatically removed, right? You had some women that came back, and we don't know, right? We don't know whether or not they were sexually assaulted or they weren't, right? We know that there are certain states that don't have a statute of limitations when it comes to civil, pursuing somebody civil. And Mike Tyson is literally going through that right now, in which a woman from 30 years ago said that, hey, I got in his limo and I never said nothing, but I'm saying nothing now. We don't really know, but
see, you gotta toss that type of shit out.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. All that 30 years later. Sorry,
you remember all the details from 30 years ago. Do you remember what you ate yesterday?
So,
Stop.
Like, we should legally institute. Like,
it should be a statute of limitation. Yeah, it should.
Well, so let me ask the question, and I want to come to Jess first, right? Because Jess is looking a certain type of way. Jess, do you think that there should be a statute of limitations? Well, first, let me come back, right? I'm going to come to that question in a minute, so hold that thought. I want to hit on something that Crimson said. Crimson said that she believes, and I largely believe a similar thing, right? And I say it too. She believes that if a person or a woman is found to be lying, let's just say a person. Often at times we see it from women because we see the allegations come from women. But let's just say a person. If a person is found to be lying, based off of an accusation that they make of a man to be doing something that he didn't do. We see it's a lot of guys getting released from jail today, every day, based off of the Innocence Project, because now we have DNA testing and somebody lied on them or whatever, right? But let's just stay with this particular subject. We're not going to talk about murder or none of that. If a person is found to be lying, what do you think should happen to that person? If it is determined that they were lying about whatever it is that they accuse somebody of. And second part of that question, will it prevent false accusations, or will it hinder women from coming forward that did have something for fear of, retaliation from the courts or from society in general? As far as making an assumption, but people don't necessarily believe it.
Well, I do think that making false allegations is criminal, right? Like if you go on the stand, it's perjury. Like you're not supposed to do that. If you file a police report that is untrue, there are whatever consequences there are for that. So I would probably weigh that same conviction with those same allegations. But also, I don't really believe in the criminal justice system, specifically as it relates to protecting Black bodies. So I don't buy into that ideologically generally. Okay, so I'm not a big fan of conviction generally. And then, but when it comes to most folks who have experienced rape, the majority of them aren't reporting anyway. And so when we start to nitpick and focus in on the folks who are lying and make that the center of the narrative, we're losing sight of the folks who are not reporting at all and who have been victimized, and why, when they do come forth, most of them actually see no results of their reporting. And that's why people don't report. So I think that we might be looking at the perspective of the conversation from a weird angle anyway. Like, I think that there are lots of victims who have experienced rape. Look at R. Kelly's story and what he's done with women in terms of being a predator in communities for poor black women and kind of kidnapping them and having a sex cult for years under the radar. And nobody reported that, or nobody believed those stories. And so when we focus on this narrative from a perspective of these women are lying, we're losing sight of the people who are not being protected. But I would say that folks who do lie, yes, that is a crime. To answer the question, I do think that it should be treated in the same way that a filed police report would be, or maybe the consequences would be just as severe as someone who did commit the rape. If I did buy into a criminal justice system that protected black bodies.
But see, the thing about rape is so.
And that's another question I have.
finicky.
How do you define rape?
It's so finicky just off of strength of the evidence and this, that, and the other. But I truly believe that if you are a victim, you have to come forward. You know what I'm saying? If you're a real victim, you have to come forward. Not, but you can't say that you're a victim if you just didn't like it or something like that, or you felt a certain type of way afterwards. No, if you consented to this, you got to rock with it. But if you were forced to perform a sexual act that you didn't want and this, that, and the other, I personally feel it's your duty to come forward. Ladies, you can't, I know it's hard. Well, I don't know. But I hear it's hard, and you know what I'm saying. I done heard the stories. Well, I done had this conversation.
The magnitude of the situation.
Right. I done heard, because I done talked to women that said they've been raped before and they didn't come forward and they felt, this type of way. But I really feel it's your duty to try to at least protect the next woman, because it's gonna be somebody else. That person is gonna do that same shit they did to you to somebody else, and they gonna do that shit to somebody else, and it's just gonna fuck up so many different heads and relationships, and that shit go way too deep. The woman has got a new hate for men and scared to do this, and if they do get with somebody, they can't even really take off with somebody else for real because of trauma. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lifelong situation. So I feel like it's your duty to come forward. Even if it don't go nowhere,
I agree with that, because even if it doesn't go anywhere, we can't just focus on whether or not the individual that's coming forth is going to get some type of justice in the form of that individual that they're accusing goes to jail, or they get to file a lawsuit and get some money. Like, you would like to go into a courtroom and get something from that, but like he just said, if we gonna ruin somebody's reputation, it might as well be the person that's guilty of actually doing it. If you're gonna come out and accuse somebody, it might as well be the person that actually does it, because we are thinking about it in terms of the sexual assault victim themselves. Well, we don't want to do too much to necessarily, or what can we do to punish people who are lying, because that might deter people who are telling the truth. But we're not really flipping it around to the other side, because the person who's getting accused that isn't doing anything is also the victim. They're also the victim. They're the victim of the lie. So now I got to carry, the scarlet letter now, whether I did it or not. people gonna look at me. You know, there have been people that have had to register as sex offenders because I ain't did nothing to nobody. Now I can't be within 500 feet of a park. Like my life is affected. So they are victims as well. So we do need, in my opinion, we do need to have something in place that penalizes the outright lie. Something has to deter that. And what I think will happen is that it will make it more believable when women come forward, because now you gotta pretty much have a solid case in front of you, because you don't want to be penalized yourself in court if they think you're lying or they prove that you're lying. So I actually think it would work in the opposite direction, that the women or the people who are the victims of sexual assault actually do get to come forward and be believed, because I don't want to be thrown in jail myself or whatever the penalty is going to be, if that makes sense.
But the only thing about the thing I do like about the American justice system is supposed to be innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And that's what make rape cases so hard to prove. But you still have to, so say like if somebody get accused of rape, they couldn't prove it, this, that, and the other, the file's still there. You know what I'm saying? They can go on about their life. But if somebody is like that, they gonna do it again. And so now we got somebody else coming up with the same story or whatever. That way you can really, just like they coming after people 20, 30 years later, and then coming up with all these women. Like it wouldn't have been 15, 20, 30 women if 5 of y'all would have came back to back, and then be like, okay, hold on now. You mean you tell me everywhere you go, everybody you mess with is coming talking about you, then slipped them a Mickey or a pill or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
5 cases on you already.
and I'm one of the people. I'm like, I fuck with Bill Cosby. I support Bill Cosby. When they came with that shit against Bill Cosby, I'm like, man, fuck that. That's how I felt. That shit was a different time. He 80, 90, you know. Y'all gotta let that shit ride. R. Kelly, the underage was my issue with R. Kelly. The above age, if you I mean, just because you in the trance of this motherfucker don't mean he's committing a crime. You know what I'm saying? Just because you allow him to piss on you,
oh my gosh,
don't mean
that's
that
not illegal.
You know, right, don't mean that he should get locked up.
Carisha said
You know
she
what I'm
liked it.
saying?
Hey, look, if you let a man bag you in a Zorro mask, that's on you, bro.
And a what?
In a Zorro.
You don't remember when he was running around wearing that mask on his face?
Who, R. Kelly?
R. Kelly is a wild boy.
And then R. Kelly, that whole situation bothers me, because what bothers me about that situation is nobody's talking about the mothers who offered their daughters to them. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody's saying anything.
Sacrifice their kids for some money.
For some money.
Yeah, but back in the 90s when we was coming up, when we was in high school and shit, niggas was pulling up. You know what I'm saying? We like, damn, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, niggas was pulling. Cass Tech, niggas was pulling up.
But that's not.
Anton never went back to a high school after I graduated.
Me either.
I don't consider
I'm
that
saying,
rape.
Going to Castech, you witnessed it.
Yeah, it happened at every high school. Like, it was normal for a guy.
I'm talking about, I didn't see foreign car. I graduated in 2006. It's a foreign
Grown
car.
men pull up to high school.
Yeah.
Well, it begs the question
still
again,
going to
though,
prom.
right?
That's not rape, though.
Well, I want to come
Yes,
to you,
it
right?
is.
And the reason why I want to come to you
That's right.
is because
Statutory rape.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is statutory.
If they're not
Jess
18,
asked
they
the question
can't
that I don't
consent.
think any of us really mined out yet, right? And Jess said, "What is rape?"
I don't know, y'all.
Well, if she say no, this ain't what I'm trying to do, and somebody forced them to do something that they wasn't trying to do, that's rape.
Right, I feel like that's rape, but I feel like if it's a young girl clearly dating an older guy, knowing what he wants,
That
giving him
ain't-
what that. I don't think that's rape.
She underage. She not.
It don't matter. She know what
responsible.
she
Not an
doing. Yes,
adult.
she is.
But he is an adult. He knows what he
She
doing.
also know what she's going on.
But
Y'all
she's
gotta.
a child.
at that
That's
point,
different.
it's
Children
not
know
up.
they
It's
doing
not
it's
up
just-
to her.
It's
That's
just
just
not.
the law.
It's just not right, and it's the law, but it's just not like it's
It
just
is
not
right.
ethical. But like, come on, like when I was
Nah.
in high school, the boyfriend I was dating was like, he was 18, I was 16.
That's
I'm
a
having
little-
sex. I know what
that's
he
a little
want. I
bit.
know what I'm giving him. I know he's older than me. I know what I'm doing. I didn't see girls literally talk to guys like in their 20s when they in middle school, like. And it's been cases of
That's not that. Nah, if somebody in
It's
their
not
20s
right.
talking to a damn
A
middle
12-year-old,
school, come on now.
yeah, that's-
we didn't
Yeah,
all
but y'all-
heard cases
Y'all
of it.
missing what she's saying.
We didn't all heard cases of it. Just like it's been like in my high school, I went to Southeastern. Like it been girls like dating teachers, well, just having sex with teachers,
I
having
don't
sex
care
with.
what little
It's
girl
not
like,
right.
She a little girl.
Right.
You missing it, though,
Because
Lance.
you're right,
You
on
missing
my,
it,
but
though,
she
Lance.
know
I
what
agree
she's
with
doing.
what she's saying.
These girls are fast. Some of these boys is fast too. Just like y'all had that one case. I think it was like in the 60s or 70s where the teacher, it was a white teacher, she was started having sex with the student. I think he was like a little Mexican student or something. And they ended up having a baby together. And she just kept going back to him. But he knew what he was doing. The boy's like, oh yeah, she coming on to you. You know, she got this body, this and that. Y'all know what y'all doing. Y'all can say, oh, y'all young. Everybody know
Yeah,
what sex
but-
is at a certain age. I
Yeah.
feel like by the age of 12, I already knew what sex was.
But y'all
I wasn't having sex, but
They
you
just,
know what it
they
is.
don't. They just don't
Right.
hold them accountable. Just like when it comes to drinking liquor or smoking before 21 or 18,
Exactly.
people do all that before they turn 21.
Exactly.
But just like you having sex before you 21, I mean, it's like
You know what you're doing.
there's
You
just
know
certain
what's
laws in place
wrong.
Know
for
what
it.
you're doing.
Right.
But
The
it's
law-
rules and regulations.
I mean, we get the rules. The technical law on the books is saying that under 18, in some states 17, whatever the age of consent is in your state, we know technically by law it would be statutory if someone above that age limit was having sex with someone below that age limit. Like, we get it. But if I'm in the same high school, like she said, and I'm 16 and he 18, we going to the same high school, is he really doing something wrong?
See that's
2
different.
years older than me?
Yeah,
Is he
that's-
really
that's pretty
wrong?
much
I get
Like,
what
should
she's
he
saying
really
from the
go to
16
jail
18
for that?
perspective.
Like, we in the same, we got the same mindset. We doing the same stuff. We want to go to prom too. You know what I'm saying? So what she's saying, I agree with her. The girls, technically by law, again, not able to consent according to the law. But if we're talking about the individual, she knows she hot.
She needs to
She
be held
trying to give
accountable.
it. She trying to throw it at the 22-year-old.
They both
dude.
should be
Like,
held
she trying.
accountable.
But you know what's sad though? It's about culture too, because I met someone not too long ago from a different culture. She says that her sister and her culture, they actually get married into, they have arranged marriages. So they get married like 15, so to grown men, like their parents. So it's like, I mean, we're not on that, but I'm just saying, but that's another whole thing that you can be with the grown man if your parents consented.
Yeah.
Like, how is that any different though? At 15, 16, you're marrying a 25-year-old, or they always marry young because they feel like the woman, when she's younger, that she's going to be able to,
Because our society
But he's still
decided, fuck that.
our society said no, but they
Right.
do it.
Like back in the day, like people like used to marry 13, 14, you marry. You
Aaliyah and
marry
R. Kelly
grown
was a
men.
big age difference. Like, and now it's a girl going around saying they child. You ever seen that?
Right.
She don't knock that off.
We're not gonna talk about
She
that.
don't knock
Cat,
that off.
I saw that cat. I saw
Knock
that.
that
Oh,
off.
that's their baby.
Well, but hold on. You
Ain't
were
no
saying
way.
that you were saying specifically that girls know what they're doing,
Yeah.
which I think is really removed from a lot of the conversations that we have on a regular basis, because the responsibility is always put on the guy, whether he's 17 going on 18, whatever it is. The responsibility is usually put on the guy, right? What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
And I honestly want to take it to not just pinpoint the women too, because it's men. Because I talked to a guy who was in high school dating college girls. You like, if we being realistic, like society, the internet, like it's been so many cases of you looking at this life and you know what this life comes with. You're gonna try whatever you can to get into that life. So it's like you like, okay, this is what I gotta do to get here. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Just like with people having babies, just because if I have this rapper's baby, if I have this basketball player's baby, I'm gonna be good. A lot of times when the girls are going after these older men, they see the cars, they see money, it's the status that they get from, oh girl, he dropped you off in the Benz. Oh yeah, he sell drugs. Oh, I got the money right here. He'll pay for this, he'll pay for my hair, he'll pay for my nails. Like, we got girls that's in middle school wearing wigs and lashes. Like, we gotta stop being like, oh well, they kids. They not kids. They know exactly what they're doing. They're watching these TVs. And go back to the TV shows, because a lot of these TV shows got high schoolers or middle schoolers having sex.
Yeah.
Like Pretty Little Liars.
You-
Pretty Little Liars. The high schooler was dating her teacher. Like, bro, you knew what you kept it going. Like, you knew what you was doing. Like, that's not right. But I feel like at the end of the day, when it's a situation like that, they both should be held accountable. He needs counseling. He needs to probably go. No, she needs counseling. He needs to go to jail, because at the end of the day, that is somebody younger. You could have probably manipulated her, but at the same time, if she knew exactly what she was doing, if y'all interview this girl, she gonna be like, I saw him. I liked him. I got the opportunity. I went for it.
When I've heard a guy say that men can't get raped by women. Like,
That's
kind of like
that is
but
a
that's
lie.
men kind of
My
like,
wife
oh,
say that junk to me all the time.
You know how many? That's why that one memes and shit, they be on the joke all the time. Is that 2:00? You know what I'm saying? She looked like this at 2:00 in the morning. You done had all these drinks and shit. The last ones left at the club. You got on your Hennessy goggles, and that motherfucker look gorgeous. You wake up in the morning like, I feel disgusted, and that's a lot of women call that rape. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the slippery slope gets slippery and slopery. Because niggas be drunk. Because niggas be drunk as hell. You know what I'm saying? Just like when they be like, I was so drunk, niggas be drunk as hell too.
I got a question for you, Lance. Because we exist in an environment where we're advocating for equal. Not everybody is, but that's the landscape in which we live in. One of the things that we said was, or that you said was, I can't, that's rape if you're dealing with a chick and she piss poor drunk and you take advantage of her, right?
But can a man be raped? Like, can you?
That's my question.
Yeah, can y'all? Do you feel violated if a woman just took her clothes off and you like, I didn't want this? Are you going? I'm just saying. Like, honestly,
I done had some booger wolves
aggressive.
Trying to, you know,
So
what
only
I'm
when
saying?
they're ugly.
Back too aggressive. Like, no, baby, you know what I'm saying?
A pressure from a woman in that situation is kind of tough.
But it's only when she ugly? Because if it's
Yeah.
a baddie.
Booger wolf.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So
it's only
can a
rape when she
baddie
ugly.
rape you, though? Like, because
Could a
if
baddie rape
you
you?
don't, say you're, like, you clearly married, but if a fine chick came up and just, like, started grabbing on you, like, you going to be like,
But I'm a man,
Stop
though.
it,
Like,
girl.
hold on, chill out. What the fuck are
you
doing?
drunk. Lamar
See
Odom.
what I'm saying? That drunk shit fuck you up sometimes.
Yeah, why can't help with the booger wolf?
Like,
Why
please,
can't help
don't
with the
let me-
booger wolf?
Yeah, I'm saying that drunk shit that's why these booger wolves be having 4 or 5
But
kids.
the question still remains.
They pull up
he
to
did.
the club,
You
man.
listening. You listening.
Here's the thing, though, because the onus is put on men, because we are still, even in 2023, with all of the liberalism, with all of the women are equal, and, you know, women can do what they want and slut walks, and don't slut shame me because I want to sleep with 100 guys, all of that type of stuff. We still are also on the other end of it saying that women are not intellectually capable of making their own decisions properly to safeguard themselves. For instance, we're talking about the drunk thing. A woman should understand you don't go nowhere. If you want to get sloppy, knocked down, drunk, you need to be in the house.
That's right.
By yourself.
With your
Don't
family.
stop going to these parties, getting so out of sorts that you can't consent to what's going on around you. That means that you are so out of your mind that you don't know up from down. And then getting mad that some creep somewhere decided to take advantage of the situation. Now, that doesn't make him right. But at the same time, at what point in society do we actually hold women to the accountability of being an adult?
Exactly.
You should have known not to do that.
And I like how you said that, because it's just like the thing what he said with Mike Tyson. She got in his limo. Like, you're going to the celebrity. Like, I was watching his documentary. Like, I don't know if it's the same chick, but basically she ended up going into the hotel with him and then tried to claim rape.
This new
This is a
one is
whole
a
nother
different
chick.
woman because
Yeah.
he
This is
got
a new girl.
convicted of the last one, but then she admitted lying.
And see,
About it.
and that is just weird because we have so many cases where like a rapper bring you backstage and be like, hey, let's go to my hotel room and let's go to do this, and you be like,
But you think you finna play Chutes
what
and
do you
Ladders?
think?
But you
Because
think you
in your
finna-
mind, I feel like back in the back of
finna
your
Netflix
mind,
and
you already
chill.
know what's going on, like, and you really
You
down
there
for
for it,
whatever.
really.
You probably just feel like, okay, now at this point I'm in too deep. I don't really want to do this, but at the same time, it's like, do you really not
It
want
makes
to
me
do
feel
it?
they
Because you
do
wouldn't
it
be
for they
here.
doing it for a check.
It's
They
called
really wanna
plausible
just, like,
deniability.
I mean, if you
It's plausible deniability. If you keep yourself in a gray area with a lot of situations, you can claim plausible deniability with some stuff. Like, oh, I just didn't know, and it's like,
How did you not know?
and you can say, how did I not know? But if this person, like, usually when you're doing that for a player, you're talking to somebody and you're like, hey, let's go back to my room to listen to music or have a nightcap or something. People usually end up using that as plausible deniability because now it's like, oh, well, it was just a drink, or we were just going to watch Netflix. That's how Netflix and chill became. We all
Netflix
know what
and
Netflix
chill.
and chill
Yeah.
means.
Right.
For real,
Netflix,
but
you get to
we,
rub it
but
on
you
some
know,
pussy.
but how many people actually have actually? Oh no, I'm actually just going to watch Netflix
Right.
and just chill.
But then that goes back around to women aren't actually adults now. Even though we say that they are, we still operating in these instances with this type of thing. We're still
naiveness.
operating as if men have this unnamed, vague control over women, and women don't really like sex, and we don't really know what it is, and we don't really know what's going on, and we're naive, and he just told me, and he just, oh my God, we're not still clutching pearls when you got a 300 body count and an OnlyFans. Like, we not still,
Dang.
why we still clutching pearls? Like, knock it off. Like, come on. Like, you 25, you've been doing what you've been doing since you was 15. You had 2 abortions at 18. Stop. Like, stop. I need you to knock it off. We only think about sexual assault in terms of penetration. This is why the onus get laid on men, because they can penetrate us. We don't, without an apparatus, can't penetrate them. So male sexual assault is actually downplayed, especially in the Black community. So many Black men, if you ask them, when did you lose your virginity? Oh, I lost mine at 12. How old was she? 35. That was my mama friend.
Always.
That was my mama friend. She was 35.
Same.
And we don't think that that's assault. We just say,
That is
oh,
assault.
dude, you got yours. He got his.
Y'all saw Antoine Fisher? That's assault.
No,
Yeah.
D. Ray Davis tell his story often.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
He had a
R. Kelly
His
told
first-
his actually.
his first interaction with women sexually was with 2 of his mother's friends, and they were like 30, and he was like 12.
Wow.
Yeah, but see,
He-
boys,
We don't
like,
see that
and
as
he-
assault.
but boys, we don't see that as us being a victim of nothing. We, you know what I'm saying? We
We're
looking at that
conditioned.
shit
Probably
like,
not until y'all older.
Yeah, until we all right.
Cause
You
your
think
daddy
about
We're
got
it.
five.
conditioned.
That's-
We're conditioned. It's not usually your daddy. It's your homeboy.
It allows
It's
women
the-
to be predators without being
But
called a predator.
It still go back to what I said, like, cause I remember being 12, like the conversation at the lunch table was all that. Like,
Yeah.
if it wasn't gonna be with an older person, it's gonna be with the person that's in your 5th hour. Like, I don't know. It's a thin line when it comes to stuff like that. Like with the age differences, like I don't know. It's a tricky line.
The women should be held accountable. They should.
Yeah.
Should it be a law when it comes to that? To like the underage, it got to be like a 2-year. You get a 2-year
I
grace
think
period.
doesn't Texas have like a Romeo and Juliet law? I vaguely remember. I don't know if it's still instituted, but like if you guys started dating like before 17, and you were like, let's say you 13 and 15, and then y'all keep dating, like as long as you got visible proof, like no, we've been dating since we were kids, and it's like, because it does make sense at some point. Like, what if I'm like, I meet you at 9 and you're 6, and we stick together for some reason.
Yeah.
Now, and then
But
on
3 years,
TV,
3 years
it's
make a difference from 2 years or
Yeah,
4
but-
years. Should be like
Yeah.
a,
but then when you look at stuff like that on TV, people, oh, y'all sticking in relationships, but it do get tricky in the real life. Like That's not good if you 16 and I'm 19. Nobody is gonna look at that favorably. And that's 3 years. Like
Yeah.
if you wanna see where that line hits, nobody, and you can put it on the internet. Nobody will be okay with a 16-year-old dating a 16-year-old girl dating a 19-year-old boy. It just don't sound right.
Yeah.
They're also fine the other way
19-year-old
around
could
as
still be
well.
a senior though. He fuck around, be a senior still. Like it's
Yeah, he could have started
Yeah.
school.
It's
later.
only not
Yeah.
favorable if the older party is a boy.
Yeah,
If it's a
always,
girl,
yeah,
it's fine.
Right,
Yeah.
It's not even
But-
statutory. Nobody's gonna
But
report
within,
that.
like
That's
when
true.
we're asking what that line is, usually like within 2 years, people aren't really saying anything. But usually it's about that 3rd year or that 4th year where people really start being like,
All right, guys.
Like, okay.
what you doing?
so we done unraveled the real predators out here.
But then they start lying about their, people lie about their age.
Yeah.
That's what they used to do.
I got a family member that lied about her age to her dude.
People in jail today
Ended up
because she lied about her age.
Ended up with 4 kids.
Well, the question then becomes, should we look at it the same with younger guys with older women as we do with older guys with younger women?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why? See, Lance is confused right now.
Yep. No,
I
we got to
mean,
look at it the same because if we
Lance is
don't-
saying no. Crimson.
I ain't saying that society shouldn't, but I just know as a boy, that's the shit. You know what I'm saying?
And see, and that's and we understand that, but it actually, like you said, that's when the slippery slopes get slippery and slopery because I did content just recently where little boys, toddlers, are being sexualized by
fuck that.
women.
Now that's a problem.
Sexualized
Yeah.
because we don't care if boys get sexualized. We don't care. They twerk on the little boy.
That's your
They
boyfriend.
let him
That's
feel
your
a booty.
girlfriend.
I done seen some videos.
They sexualize the
Yeah.
little boy. The little boy. He don't know nothing about nothing. And here you are with your booty in his face thinking it's cute. Talking about, oh, he gonna be a little heartbreaker when he grow up. Because that's the slippery slope. Since we don't care about the 12-year-old boy getting molested by the 35-year-old woman, now we get down to some of these women are actual predators. So they'll prey on the little boy. Nobody thinks the woman is the predator because she can't penetrate that boy. And everybody thinks it's cool because, yeah, little man got him something. Little man is being traumatized right now.
Yeah.
And he can't speak up
He being perverted.
about it.
Yeah.
He
That's-
being
it's
perverted
conditioned.
is what's
It's
happening.
conditioned. Like I
Oh,
said
well, let me
before.
ask a question though, because, for example, you said that women, or not even women, girls, right, at a certain age, especially when they're in middle school, high school, whatever, they know what they're doing, right? And so she was saying that, yo, we need to stop acting like they don't know what they're doing.
That's true.
Do we give that same perspective towards the guys?
But
Because it seems as
We
though
actually do.
You said we do,
We
Crimson?
do. The boy know what he doing. That's why it ain't no problem.
Yeah, but
That's
that's
why it
why
ain't no
that's why
problem.
it's easier for them
That's,
to say that.
that's why
It
we
goes
say it
back-
like that.
it
Oh, he
goes back
12
to
and
the
he did it.
conditioning that I
Whatever.
was
He
just
know.
saying. Like
And it's the
that
shit.
boys are conditioned to just when it comes, just hey, be ready for it. No matter what, hey, soon as you get that attention, that type of attention, hey, you own it. Look at how we treat little boys. She just said it. Oh, you so cute. You gonna be a heartbreaker when you grow up. You gonna be a lady killer when you grow up. All of this. Yeah,
They be saying that's my boyfriend, all that.
Yeah,
like
you got
child.
grown women claiming these little boys as boyfriends, and then giving them preferential treatment, like in school, in daycares and stuff. Oh, he the pretty one, so we gonna make sure that he get extra stuff. Now we're playing to that. It is you play to that because now you looking for that woman's favor. Now you looking at, oh, if you do something extra for me, and this is where dudes end up getting weird if a woman shows them attention and they be sitting there like, oh, I think she liked me.
Right.
And it's like, no, she just gave you basic attention. But if you were a kid and you were raised and everybody was giving you attention and calling you this this pretty boy, this heartbreaker, and all of this stuff. When you get older and some chick give
I
you
don't
attention,
think I don't think Lance see it the same way as y'all.
And then it's crazy
Because he said it's
because
the shit.
it was just a
I'm
little
saying
boy that went
it has
viral
to be
because
child.
everybody like, oh yeah, he could get it. And like it's the way like these women be dressing their sons too. Like y'all dress him like a little
I was
hoodlum.
just at the hotel. I was just at the hotel, and I'm standing in the lobby, and this black lady, she looked like she might have been in her early 30s, early to mid 30s. She's got her son that looks like he couldn't have been no more than between 10 and 12, and she was cupcaking with that boy. She was cupcaking with him. She was like, all in his other's face, and I'm not accusing her of doing anything untoward because I don't know her, but the vibe was like, this my little man though.
Yeah,
Like,
And that's how
because
they treat
it's
him.
weird.
they-
Like, y'all done got weird with that.
That's
What
how they
is up
treat
with
them.
that?
Because women, you know what I'm saying, they quick to leave a man or have kids with around them, and they going on through life without no man. So they make they little boys they man.
they treat their
And
sons
so-
like Swiss Army knives.
Oh, it's called a
That's
son
the
husband.
son
Yeah,
husband.
son husbands. Yeah.
They treat their sons like Swiss
do
Army
whatever-
knives.
do
Whatever
whatever.
they need at that point in time, they go to their son for whatever form. If you feel like you need protection, this person, it's not, I need you to go fight him, but I'm going to go ahead and lift off that angry energy by venting to you. I need somebody to play with me like I got somebody for Valentine's Day. Now you your mama's little Valentine.
Now you taking naked
Now you-
Photoshop
yeah.
photo pictures with your son, putting them on
She
Instagram.
She
Like,
need
here we
to
go
be
with
seen
that.
out in the world. Now you playing sports that you don't even like because she just want to be seen by other parents out having you out and about. So she got you out here doing stuff, and now you just doing whatever
Ooh.
and you feeling whatever role that
Right.
your mother needs because she don't have a man at home.
Because she doesn't have a
And then
man.
when he finally get a man, now she feel away. 'Cause that was her
Yeah.
man.
And that's
Yeah.
what they,
Yeah. And that's
they,
what the
and that's what
tension
they
is.
say. They like, little man, you the man of the house.
Yeah.
Nigga
Which
be
is so
8 years
wrong.
old.
No,
They be
it's
like,
so
you the man of the
wrong. He's
house.
not a man
You know
of
what
the
I'm saying? And they put that on little boys. So boys, we gotta protect our mamas, and you know what I'm saying. And so when we grow up and want to have a relationship or get married and stuff like that and move on
Your
with your
mama feel
life,
some type of
you
way.
know, it's a
She needs to sit in the front seat and not your wife, who
Why?
gets to sit in the
Who
front
gets-
seat,
yeah.
because which of your wives get to sit in the front seat? Like, stop it. The mother, like he said, is looking for what I call the 4 P's: the provision, the problem solving, the protection, and the procreation from her son. She's looking and I see son husbands as emotional incest. That is emotional
Yeah.
incest.
true.
Whether you ever cross that physical line or not, you've emotionally been incestuous with that boy, because like you said, it's the Swiss Army knife. If I need a protector, if I need that's how a lot in the 90s, that's how a lot of our young men was on the corner slinging them things, because they mama wanted some money or needed some money. He felt like he was responsible
he
for
was
that.
the man of the house.
He's the man of the house. So he has to get provision. And if you 14 or 15, you ain't working nowhere, so you're gonna be
What
the
you
stick
gotta
up
do.
kid, or you're gonna
Yeah.
slang them things on the corner, or whatever it is that you're going to do. And she's going to be receiving that money from her son because he's the man of the house and he's supposed to be taking care of his mama. That's why so many black boys have a complex when they make it in like sports, or they make it and they have money. I gotta buy my mama a house. And she ain't buy
That's
you
the
now.
fir- That's the
She
first
that was her
It is the
responsibility to
truth.
make sure you grew up in a house. That ain't your responsibility to make sure she get a house. The mama need a man, what she need, and
That's
leave you alone.
Her son is her man.
So how do y'all feel about Amber Rose and how she treating her son? Like,
I was gonna go there. No. Okay, so that's cool. This is beautiful because I actually was gonna segue into that. You are.
that's good.
I see you. My co-host over there. But no, this is beautiful because I was gonna transition into that. So let me give y'all a little bit of insight, right? Amber Rose had recently said that. First of all, she spoke about her own situation and said that, I'm never gonna live with a man.
She never gonna date
again. Yeah, she basically like I'm never gonna live with a man again. Right? I don't believe it. However,
I'm
just
used
giving
up, y'all.
Hey,
I'm just giving it. Hold on, let me get the rest of the context, right? And then she spoke about her son specifically, and she said, and I'm gonna just say this loosely. She said her son is born a feminist, right?
Yeah.
By default, she said that her son was born a feminist, right? And I don't have an opinion either way because I have enough opinions throughout the week on all of the different shows that I participate on, right? So I want to get your thoughts, and I'm sure you can give me some additional context, but I want to get your thoughts as to how it is that you see what's being communicated, how you think that we got here, and whether or not you think our culture or society is playing a role in what it is that she's saying and how it is that she's communicating. Oh, and she also said one more thing. She said that she also told her son about her having an OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm.
He is familiar with that, and he is familiar with her past. Okay,
Because that's her man.
so-
Is that story that came out where he was defending her OnlyFans?
Yep.
Because that's her man now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so two things. One, why are we listening to somebody that got tattoos on their forehead? Like
Precisely.
straight across their forehead.
Right.
Like anything that screams, like we talked about Mike Tyson for getting that tattoo on his face for years. And we just gonna she got her son's name tattooed
Is that
on
what it
that
says?
big ass
Those are her
forehead.
son's names.
Oh, that's cold.
And then got the nerve to be blonde and have short hair. You ain't got nothing to take away from that tattoo on your forehead.
It's worse than that.
But
Yeah,
just
it
like we
looks
were
awful.
talking about
It does look.
the
But I
Sun
love
Moms,
Amber Rose,
that is
so I'm
the
sorry,
literal
y'all.
poster child. That is the textbook definition
Sir,
of
that's
that.
not it.
Texas.
She has a vagina on her wall. So her son has known what a vagina looked like and what the purpose of it was since he was yay
As long
big.
as she's okay with
Who's
taking
the
care of
dad?
his babies
Wiz
when he
Khalifa.
have one at 16.
No. She got two. She
She's
got
got
two
two children
sons.
by two.
She got two sons.
Sebastian.
Yeah, she got two.
Oh, I
One
didn't
of
know she
them
had
was
two.
Khalifa.
I know
King and
The other one
Sebastian.
is
Yeah.
Sebastian.
Wiz Khalifa probably got his.
Wait,
No,
no,
Wiz-
y'all.
Wiz
Amber
taking-
Rose only got one kid. Amber Rose.
No,
She has two.
She
She's got two sons.
Two
She got
sons.
two sons. She got two sons.
That's a
No,
vagina.
So which one of these children is she abusing? Which one?
Both of them.
Both of them.
Both of them.
because that son husband thing. See, the purpose of the son husband goes deeper than just looking for that masculine attention from your son. It is also the man you control. You can pull rank on him at any time, even if he's an adult. I'm your mother. So you can switch that, you can hit that switch on him
Oh,
at
but that can
any
go left.
time. I'm your woman when I like you. When I don't like what you're doing, I'm your
mom.
mother.
Yeah.
And so therefore you have to listen to me. That's why she's raising her son that way. Again, it's emotional incest. Even if she never crosses that
It's gonna
physical
come back and bite her
barrier
in
with
the ass,
him, she's conditioning him that I'm your woman and you have to take care of me physically and emotionally and mentally, because this woman is unstable. When you done had, when you done sat on as many as she done sat on, that's why she telling the whole world, I'm used up, I'm gone. I can't, I don't have one more transaction inside of me. I can't do it.
Well, she like Kanye put her on, right? Basically.
Well,
She
when he
was the-
found her,
Yeah.
she was a stripper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, was she?
Yeah, she was a
I
stripper.
knew it was
That's
something
not.
like
That's
that.
nothing
Mhm.
new.
Crazy,
I
right?
didn't know that.
A lot of people don't know that because she
She hit it
transitioned
well.
real quick.
But
To
it's
what though? Like she ain't
Video.
she don't
To
make no
celebrity
songs
status.
or nothing, do she?
Well, hold on,
She
go
just
ahead.
like-
I want because I know you got some
Yeah.
additional
It's
insight.
celebrity
Yeah,
status.
because I was gonna say, like, at first when I heard about her, like, explaining to her son, like, the female body, well, not even like the female body, but like just how to treat a woman basically and how to not abuse their body, I was like, okay, cool. They do kind of need that knowledge in a certain aspect. But when I noticed that she got the vagina and this little boy's telling his friends about, oh yeah, that's a picture of a vagina and my mama do this and my mama do that, like, you're gonna ruin this little boy to where when he get older, he's either not gonna respect women or not even like women because you done seen so much. And then you talk about, I got an OnlyFans and a woman has a right to do what she wants with her body. Can we stop? Like, at what point do we just keep saying everybody just needs to go out and just fornicate? Like, nobody want to get married. Nobody want to be a virgin. Like, it's still so bad to be a virgin. Like, you telling your son, yeah, go do what you want and let her do this. If she want to go have sex with 5 guys and come back to you, you got to let her. Like, what?
And we want that freedom. And then we also want to talk about what's grape, what's sexual assault, and then put all of these rules and stipulations on it. Well, what if she says no in the mid-stroke?
Right.
She was there for the 15 strokes. Now on stroke 16, she got a problem. Stop. She gonna have to.
Yeah.
She gonna have to
Not stroke
absorb that
16.
one.
Yeah.
Just absorb that
Yeah.
one. Yeah, and take your L after you leave, because regret sex is not great. Just
Right.
because
You
he was
already
ugly
there.
later
Hey, I
You
is
just
already
not
there.
realized
sexual
something.
assault. And just because your friends laughed when you
Right.
told them that you let him knock it down, that is also not
You
assault.
want to know
So
the perfect example of how a son husband plays out and how I go left?
Uh-oh.
That Cersei Lannister and King Joffrey shit from Game of Thrones.
mhm.
That's the perfect
Oh, I never
example.
watched
How
Game
it
of
blow
Thrones.
back on you. She had him under control up until he got the title of king, and then homeboy, hey, I'm the man of the house. I can do what I want. Don't you talk to me back. Now it's all of a sudden a relationship. That's how that blowback go. It go left. Once he becomes of age and he becomes a grown man, even Kanye said it. Who's gonna stop like a kid that has millions of dollars in a fucked up mindset like that?
Yeah.
Like you got
well, let me ask Jess. Jess, I want to get your thoughts on this because you've been quiet, you've been observing. I want to get your thoughts on this. What are your thoughts? I know you probably have a lot of things that you want to.
The thoughts around. So the original question was Amber Rose said that her son was a feminist. How do we feel about that? I will go back to what I said originally. People have the right to raise their families with whatever family values they have. And if that's a family value that she wants to uphold with her child, she has the right to do that. And that's all my thoughts on that.
Okay, okay. So let's go to the second thing about the idea that about the whole thing where she's breaking down and exposing her son, her young son, over into a lot of the different things that I think that a lot of people would probably say a young kid or a young boy probably shouldn't be exposed to in this early of an age. The fact she got OnlyFans, pictures of vaginas on the wall, and all of this other type of stuff. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I guess it's like the question is, should we expose children to the erotic? And my thought is that no. But should we expose children to the explicit so that they understand genitalia, so that they understand how family structures work and look different from one another? Should we expose children to understanding relationship dynamics? I think that there's a certain part of development that you're trying to help them to become whole humans. I do agree that there's a fine line between perverse and predatory action with children who really don't have as much agency or voice or power in society. And so there's a level that we do need to protect them. But I also am more progressive around my perspectives around what is developmentally sound in terms of being a productive human and understanding anatomy and understanding how relationship dynamics work. I think that we're quick to judge Amber Rose because she might not reach our expectations of modesty or what we perceive should be a well-behaved woman. But I think that what she does with her family and with her children and with her body is her right, so long as she's not causing harm to their development.
Crimson, what are your thoughts about this?
In theory, that sounds nice, but then we have to say what is harm, because in my opinion, she is harming him. She's doing it psychologically. Children naturally are curious, and that type of curiosity should never be deterred. A 2-year-old, you give them a bath, and let's say they brother and sister, they 1 and 2, you give them a bath together, and they happen to look like, wait a minute, that's not the same. That's not the same. That's a natural. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing perverted about that. There's nothing immoral about that. Nothing.
That's a boy
As
and that's
a
girl.
parent, it's your job now to explain that difference. Okay, well, she's a girl and she has this. You're a boy and you have this. Okay, there's an age appropriate way to actually explain this stuff. Just because we're explaining the biology to children doesn't mean that we are adding all of our nuance to that biological explanation. Just let them know. This is what you do when your children reach puberty. You're not supposed to wait until your daughter comes to you already on her period before she know what her period is. You're supposed to tell her this is coming. You're going to start growing breasts. You're going to have a cycle. This is what this feels like. A little boy, you got to tell him. And this is why family structure is so important, because you would send his father to tell him about his first wet dream that he going to have, because he's getting of age to now produce sperm, and that's going to happen randomly now. He's not going to really have a lot of control over that, and he needs to understand what his body is doing at this point, and all of the hormones, and now he's going to be horny, and now he needs somebody to explain that to him, preferably a man that went through that already. I've been through puberty. I know exactly what you're going through. So, listen, son, this is what it is.
Cold shower.
You know what I'm saying? This is how we handling this. And so there's always an appropriate way to be truthful to your children about the stuff that biologically is happening to them. Now, as they get older, now nuances come in because emotions are now involved. I'm probably liking this boy, or I like that girl, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Yeah, I'm getting a sexual urge to, you know what I'm saying. Now they're at the age where sex needs to be explained to them, not just from a biological space, but also from that emotional nuance space. This is how I know how you feeling. You know what I'm saying? It's perfectly fine to feel that way, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. We can still create boundaries, but you're not wrong, you know what I'm saying, for feeling the way that you feeling. And it's because we skip, I think in this society today, we so focused on letting the kid have the freedom to do this. We skip the biological explanation. We got girls that don't understand their period and ovulation, that don't even understand how to properly take care of themselves hygienically. You got them at 20-something year old, not understanding you wipe front to back, baby. And you wiping back to front, and that's why you got BV. Okay? That's why your pH balance is off now, baby.
Exposing those pads and stuff like that. Don't even know the simple stuff,
Don't know the simple stuff. So
I was in high school with a girl who didn't even know how to put a tampon in. I'm just like, your mama never taught you how to put the tampon in? Like, or women still douching. It's like, why?
like we
You
don't know.
need all that. Like,
Right.
yeah.
But that's a part of parenting and raising the youth up, and you try to give them as much information as you can so they can understand the totality of the situation, the consequences of for STDs, babies, this, that, and the other. They gotta understand that you might fuck around and be able to do something with somebody, but you gotta understand the whole scope. Make sure you wear condoms. Make sure you do this. Girls, if y'all want to get them on birth control, they say they getting active or want to get active. You got to be real enough to be like, look, you got to start taking these pills because you don't want to have these kids. Y'all too young. Y'all ain't gonna. This nigga ain't about to marry you. Y'all ain't gonna take off with it. This shit ain't happening for real. Be responsible. Try to raise responsible kids. Because we was all young and we all did all type of shit. Like, I understand what you're saying about the girl. She know. But at the same time, as a adult man, that's even
you know how to say no.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
even
hey.
through college and like as I said, I never look back. You know what I'm saying? Like when you younger dudes look at older women as the catch. Like we look at the older chicks, like if we could smash an older chick, that's like they gotta hit this 40-year-old.
You think women don't look at men like that? That's what I'm saying. Women look
that's
at
why
men
the younger
like,
women go for the boy that's older.
But
Stability.
as the man, we like younger women, but
especially if they built right.
I got little sisters and shit. Like I couldn't. At 40 years old, I'm not fucking with nobody under my little sister's ages.
So he
and
come out
my,
looking like a
you know
brick
what I'm
house.
saying?
You might.
Not me knowing
it's
that
not.
that's them.
I've
Like,
seen
you know what I'm saying? I couldn't
Even
do
then,
it.
when you find out an age, at a certain point, you be like, okay, you cute.
Yeah.
Right.
You cool
Some,
in
but-
theory.
and then
In
that
theory,
shows-
I'll
Yeah,
be
in
with you,
theory.
but not in
And
reality.
that shows how you're raising like your like moral standpoint, because some men will be like, oh no, I can't do that, and others will be like, hey, she want it, I want it, why not?
It was a senior in high school. He had his teacher pregnant, you know, and I'm like, how did she just go and sleep with her student like that? Because he a senior and got pregnant by him. That's
Yeah, that
sad.
shit. But see, as the
Why would
adult
you-
in
why
the
would you keep
situation,
that?
you gotta
I
be
mean,
able
like-
to
He
control your
baby.
damn self.
I mean, that not to sound like real
No, why would you keep
cold-hearted,
it?
like
Yeah.
cold-hearted, but you keeping evidence of your crime.
I mean, like,
Not to be rude,
she definitely got fired. For being a
but
teacher.
that's
That
literally
shit.
like
That's a job.
you can't
That ain't
refute
shit.
that at no point. Like, hey, yo, did you do that? No. Then what's the little baby on the floor?
Yeah.
Can
But
we
some
get a-
people,
And
but that's
see-
what happened when you do that type of stuff to children. They grow up and do that to other children. You know what I'm saying? They think that this is a thing. So they, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They see somebody that remind them of them, and they get perverted. You know what I'm saying? That's they get perverted, and then they end up
Many
grown
times a
and
predator
still
was
perverted.
prey at one
Back
point.
to what you were saying about the information, I think with like the point of contention with the Amber Rose, like with the vagina on the wall and everything, is that there is a such thing as information overload.
Mm-hmm.
If you give, and what Crimson was saying, if you give a kid that much like give them information overload with no social nuance, no cultural nuance, they make up whatever they want. So, I mean, like, look at how kids play house. I'm the mommy, I'm the daddy. Like, kids' imaginations are hyper active, and when you give them information, it slowly formulates in their imagination in some shape or form. So when you see kids that are like hypersexualized, and they're like, oh yeah, well, I caught my parents screwing all the time, or I was exposed to my older brother always being a pimp or something like that, or you hear some level of sexual exposure at an age where you know that
They
it wasn't
wasn't
appropriate.
able to take that
They
information.
weren't able to process it. So now
Not
they're
for
saying that-
today's society.
So whatever way that they ended up processing it has now become
Normal
warped.
for them.
It's a perversion.
And
They
then on top of
perverted.
that, you add nobody giving social context or lack of social context, because you might just get the bare minimum. Like, I mean, some parents weren't too great. They'd be like, hey, don't let me catch you fucking. And it's like, well,
Well, why
what?
not?
Yeah, like,
and
why
what,
not?
And
it's
what's
like,
and what's wrong with that?
well, I'm gonna beat your
And
ass if I
what-
catch you fucking. And it's
And
like,
that
oh,
and
that's not.
that is the teaching that Gen X's and above got. Better not come home with no baby.
Yeah.
That was my
That's it.
sexual
Yeah.
education. Don't
But
come
now
home
you
with no
gotta-
baby.
And then you end up having an unhealthy fear of sex at that point.
Because people avoid the conversation and talk about
And
Yep.
it.
But now it changes. It morphs how you explore your sexuality.
And see,
Now
we
you-
went from that to a different extreme.
But now you got to think about it. That little boy is being exposed to high level content about a woman's
From
body.
his mother,
Like-
as well.
Like, that's like biology, like pure biology. Kids don't learn about biology until high school. Realistically, so if you're giving biological context to something that he not gonna have biological feelings for at some point, you gonna have some missing link in that information. Because now he's having the exposure, but is he gonna get the proper social context and nuance? So that's like, I mean, a kid genius. Yeah, you got the information, but your experience is limited. You don't know every process. Yeah, you can have all of the smarts in the fucking world, but if you make one fatal mistake because you haven't had experience or you haven't went through the proper process, you might blow your fucking hand off doing some stuff. That's the one thing that I've learned from engineering. Yeah, you can be smart as fuck, but you can't beat a process. Everything is a process, and you have to go through that process because you're learning other things way past just what that core content is.
Yeah.
So when you're learning core content, you're also learning how to navigate and mitigate and understand that core content, how you're going to relay it, what parts you need to keep for yourself, what parts you need to show. So now this little boy is equipped with the full functioning working in body anatomy, physiology and anatomy of a woman, and then you about to send him to middle school. You think he not
He
about to
about
be
to,
trying to finger some
yeah,
girl
about
in
to
the
say,
bathroom or
he
But
something?
his
about to
mom is
turn out
Amber
halfway through.
Rose. And so, like, his existence, there's no separation of that. Like, she has to have these conversations with him because that's what she does. She's a sex worker. She's always been a sex worker. She's been a stripper. She's been a model. She has an OnlyFans. That's what she does. His reality is his mom is a sex worker. And so, like, he has to go to school, and you don't think his peers are going to be like, I saw your mom on OnlyFans. I saw your mama's pussy. Or, I'm sorry. I saw,
You can say
like,
what you want.
he has to be able to live his existence shame free. And I think that that's what we're forgetting is like, yes, we can preach how we want our children to be raised, but that's not his reality. That's not the world he lives in. His dad is a rapper who constantly talks about effing women all the time too, and has strippers in and out of his room all the time too. And his mom is a sex worker. He's exposed. There's no protecting him. He just needs to live his life shame free and recognize that this is what's happening. We can't put parameters from our experience on other people's. Huh?
But at the same time, he can't grow up to take advantage of people.
What you mean?
And
Cause
psychology
them
is
the type of people
psychology.
that hurt people.
Hmm. Yeah, his life as a child may be different than other children's lives, but he's still a human being. His psychology is his psychology. You don't change that. Some stuff warps you, even though that's your reality, and your parents might not be able to hide certain things from you and things of that nature. That still doesn't mean that he's not going to be negatively affected
Right.
by having to be exposed.
And every
by,
parent traumatizes their children in some way.
And not only is he learning sexual stuff, now he got to associate that with his mom. Now, how does he disassociate that from his mom? You know what I'm saying? This is almost an Oedipal complex, because there's certain other boundaries now being crossed, because it's like I understand sexual stuff to a certain degree, but I understand it from the context of my mom, though. So it isn't just my mom explaining stuff to me. This is me having to associate sexual knowledge and understanding and possibly feelings at some point with my mom.
Yeah, but like you said, yeah, I don't even think Amber Rose think that it's the wrong thing. She's living her, like, she feels like she's doing the best parenting that she feels like she can do, or compared to what her life is, she feels like I'm not changing who I am. I'm gonna be who I'm gonna be. Like, she put herself first, as far as like this funds everything that we do. Me being slut shame, whatever. So she's owning that too. I don't think that she's like, well, I don't want let me shield what my son may have to hear about me. So she's just walking in that high and mighty to where she feels like she's doing the right thing, But on the outside, looking in, we like it could be terrible, right? But
Do you really think that Amber Rose is consciously making this decision that she honestly in her heart feels is in the best interest of her kids?
I think that she feels.
Or do you believe that she's just, in a sense, exhibiting a level of rebellion against what it is that she sees as the norm, and that's being played out, and the person that is going to be victimized as a result of it are the children?
I think it's both.
I think it's both. I think that she's always been that way. She's always been the rebellion of what you think a woman should be. I'm going to do this, and this is what I think women can't sleep with me, and I can sleep with men. Like, she's always been that. So it's nothing different. So I feel like she feels.
Well, the reason I say that is because do you believe that she believes what she says, or do you believe that she's been living it so long, and that is a part of what it is that she sells as an image, that she has to just die on that sword, right? Because in a sense, I believe that most people know the difference between right and wrong on a very basic level, right? Let's remove Amber Rose out of it. Let's just say on a very basic level, we know that you probably shouldn't take somebody else's life, right? We know, whether you do it or not, that you probably shouldn't date a chick that's 12 if you're 30, all right? You know what I'm saying? Like, on a very basic level, we know, right? But everything is evolving and changing so fast as far as society that it's kind of upending everything that we thought was our norm. And the people that are going to be a reflection of that are who grow up in that normalcy, right? Which is the children. However, Amber Rose, I believe, is old enough to actually be able to come from an environment or be able to exhibit or exist in a life that she's seen different than how it is that she's raising her sons, right? And so I guess the question that I'm really asking is this what her norm is, or is this her being rebellious against what it is that she sees as the norm?
No, it's her norm.
think it's
It's
her
her
norm.
life. Yeah, this it's her life. It's her norm. That's you know what I'm saying. She like it's people that do stuff in this world. We all know 'em, you know what I'm saying. We all know the families. You know we know that family where everybody selling dope. Everybody, you know what I'm saying. We know the dope families.
Yeah,
The
but Lance, she
this
got a
man.
picture of vagina on her wall. That's not normal. That's not even like that's in a sense
But
that
that's
kind of
that.
looks like it's rebellious for me.
But that's that Hollywood bullshit.
Nah,
No.
I'm not going for
I
it.
think
I'm
this
not going
goes
for it.
back to
There's
what
some sick
just
people in Hollywood.
that just said real quick. Like people, we do have to account for how drastic lifestyles are. Some people
Yeah.
live completely different lives. Last week we said, a lot of dudes that go out and get it are gone 60, 65 hours. It was visible pushback on that. That's a lifestyle.
Yeah, well, the difference with that though is that that is the norm for people that live that are in that space, right?
Right.
I don't think that that's abnormal for a man to work more than 40 hours. I think that that is normal.
Yeah.
Um, that's not crazy to me.
Yeah, it's not crazy to you because you do
I don't
it.
think it's crazy to the general public, to grown people. I
I
don't
mean,
know
but we
most
saw.
women. I don't know most women.
Remember
Most
what
women
said.
work more than
Remember what
40
she-
hours a
I
week.
hate to use you as an example.
I
right
work
now.
more than 40 hours a week.
Thank you.
But you hate. But
I
you
just-
hate a nigga
Most
that work.
women I know work more than 40 hours a week. That is not abnormal to me.
We not gonna visit last week. We gonna let it go. But you just, even in retrospect, you're not
She
helping.
said she
No,
hate
but if we
niggas
were
that
if we had in this room 3 other sex workers who had OnlyFans pages, what would their perspective be about having a vagina on the wall? I think that when we're thinking
In
about
front of
what's
their
normal,
kids?
it's like what's normal for who, and it's in her
front of they-
bedroom
in
though.
front of
But
their kids.
it's in her bedroom though,
No.
or
I
is
don't
it
know
in
where
the
it is.
living
I'm
room?
It's in the it's
I'm
in
going
the
by
living
based
room.
off of what it
But
is
there
that I
are
see.
so many people who have erotic art in their household. Like that is an art style. So I don't know who's according normal to who. Normal to who? What is the standard?
Yeah.
What is the status quo we're asserting?
I think, and I'm gonna say this real quick. I think if you gonna live a certain kind of lifestyle, whatever that lifestyle gonna be, and you know that you're just doing it, you're living for you, whatever that is. Sometimes you gotta sacrifice stuff. I'm not gonna bring kids into this one because I live my life in such a way, and I'm living it the way I want to live it, and I want to always be able to do what I want to do. If you're gonna have that mindset, I'm gonna always do what I want to do. You almost gotta sacrifice the kid having the habit of the kids because that naturally or should take away that complete selfishness because I can't just do what I want to do all the time. Now I have to do what's best for this individual, this human being that I done birthed into this world. My selfishness has to be turned into selflessness. Now I have to sacrifice for them and not just do what I want to do. And I think that's part of the problem that I'm having with the Amber Roses of the world, whether they're famous or not, whether they're popular or not. I'm having a problem with being extremely selfish and then saying, okay, you grown enough to do what you want to do and people can't stop you. As long as it's not illegal, fine. Whatever, people can have a moral problem with it if they want to, as long as you're not hurt nobody, whatever. We live in that country where you can do that. But I'm having a problem with saying I'm going to birth children into the world and I'm gonna still put myself number one. I'm moving above them too.
Like you say, it's completely selfish, but it goes back to, I hate to say this, like Whitney Houston. You look at the lifestyle that she lived in front of her child. When you see the stories, like her daughter was exposed to some things that I probably felt like she shouldn't have been exposed to, like and drugs and stuff that your child may see. But that's still wrong. You know, it's a completely selfish individual to expose your children to everything, even though the world's going to expose it to them, but it's different age, like you said, in the ways that you're supposed to present it to them. But people are selfish.
But then y'all can't really look. Is she being selfish? She just trying to teach her son like respect the woman's body. In her mind, she's doing the right thing. In her mind, I'm teaching you to respect the woman's body, not look at it as an object. Like look at it what it's there for, like to reproduce, to love, like it's
That's
just,
Which I
believe
find
it.
to be
It's
hypocritical
weird.
of her.
It's just weird that she's. I'm not even gonna say weird. It's just not.
It's certain stuff,
I
certain
don't know.
age brackets that they should be exposed. That's it to certain
Yeah.
Because they're gonna get exposed to it. He's gonna know what a vagina is.
Yeah.
But like, he's on like what,
And
5 or
it's
6 or something.
No. Well, the oldest one, I don't
Bash is like 12, ain't
know. Yeah, but he's seen it
I
when he
don't
was
think-
younger though.
Yeah.
I don't think this was Sebastian that they were talking about. I think it was the younger one.
Well, I was talking about Sebastian. 'Cause Sebastian was the one who the vagina on the wall. He was telling his friends about it, and she was like, "I'm
Yeah.
happy that my son can explain like what a vagina looks like
Oh, I thought
what
it
a
was the
clitoris
younger
is like." Why is he telling
Yeah,
his
that
kids
doesn't
that? Like, I was getting popped because I told my friends that Santa Claus wasn't real. Like, but you want your son
But here's the thing. This is-
explaining this?
That's
Here's
the other
my
part.
here's my thing. I'm gonna comment on something that you were saying about Amber Rose and her not wanting her son to see women's bodies as objects, and she said that. So I know that that's what she thinks, which I find to be hypocritical of her because she wouldn't have been able to get the bag if men didn't see
Exactly.
women as a sexual object for them to. She wouldn't have been able to make her living. She made her living through the OnlyFans. That's why there's an OnlyFans that she's making money off of, because if men had this equipment, we can't sexually objectify any women. You wouldn't be making no money. And then, you know what, I'm not even gonna
No,
go there.
because it's funny that you said that because that means her whole slut walk is a walking contradiction. Because
Exactly.
you're purposely putting this out here, but you're saying it's for the women. But women ain't in the strip clubs. Not like that. They're not them blowing the bag on you like the men are. Like your whole
So you
target
really need
audience
to be
is
quiet.
men.
Is the slut walk a strip walk or is it a?
The
a-
slut
She
walk
don't
is-
want to be
don't-
slut-shamed.
It's my body. I do what I want. If I want to walk around half naked, I can. That doesn't mean that you can objectify me.
Well,
yeah.
the
So that's
other
why I
idea-
think it's
People
framed to
judge
empower
people.
women
Yeah.
Well,
because
the
it's
other
like,
idea of it
ain't
is that
empowering shit.
from your perspective, maybe.
It ain't. What is it empowering?
It's
If you
empowering.
a hoe, you a hoe. And if you gonna be mad
That's
that
what
a
she's
nigga
saying.
call you a hoe, that's your problem.
No, she's saying if I'm a hoe, I could be a hoe, but a man
But
can be
then
a hoe
she
too,
got
but
mad.
you can't. You
But then
mad
she
at me.
got mad on Drink Champ
Because you call
about
somebody
them
a bitch.
saying, "Ho, what do you mean?" Listen, I know you hollering because the rock hit you in your head, but let's stop. You've made your living hoeing.
You a
Just
hoe.
understand
Being
that
very
you
promiscuous.
grown. You made them decisions, and nobody had a gun in your head and make you do none of that. You did all of that stuff for you. If you wanted to be known as a bank teller, maybe you should have got a bank teller job. Like, stop.
Right. You want to be a doctor, be a doctor. You want to be a hoe,
she
you
want
a
to be a
hoe.
hoe. Let her be a hoe.
Right.
Well,
Hey,
but
and
I
wasn't
think
nobody
that's the-
complaining.
that's
She
the
mad.
That's the hypocritical aspect of it. It's because she's saying, "Don't label me this way," but then you go out
And label
and you
yourself.
walk and you label yourself that way.
Because she took it
It's
back.
the
like
stigma.
N-word.
It's the stigma around it. Like there's a lot of judgment around who she is versus like what she does. And so it's the same as like she's just critiquing the way she's treated in that existence. So I don't think she has honestly
She's
any
empowering
shame.
herself.
Yeah, she don't have no shame in being a hoe.
But
She
shit-
want to be a hoe. That's what she want to do.
But
But does that mean that she shouldn't be treated with respect?
look, you know what you signed up for. You know what I'm saying? When you choose your life path, you know what you signing up for. Like if you choose to sell drugs, you know you signing up to go to jail. You know you signing up to get shot. If you
Hey, that's a
if
good
you
point.
decide to go shake your
That's a
ass
really
in the
good
strip
point.
club, you signing up to get treated like a hoe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what
Like-
that's,
but like you
that's
said,
what comes with life.
nobody feels bad for the dude that chooses to be the stick up kid all the time. If he go to jail or if he gets shot, nobody feels like, oh, you shouldn't have shamed him and called him a stick up kid. He running around here, you know what I'm saying? That's what he doing. He thugged out.
Right.
That's what he doing. So if he get got by the ops or if he get
That's the
thrown
life
in
he chose
jail,
to live.
that's the life he chose. He kept choosing it. No matter if maybe there was some situation when he was younger, if he's still doing it at 28 or 32, then you're choosing to do that at this point. So this is what you get. And so you're going to be stigmatized as a problem in society. You're going to be looked at as a criminal. You're going to be looked at as a lowlife. That's just what it is. So if she's going to be saying, okay, I can do what I want to do with my body, and she can, nobody stopped her. She actually made a bag doing it. But what you can't do is now be mad at how society looks at that, because you know how society perceives that with women. You can say it's unfair. It's a lot of double standards that people don't feel are fair, and that's fine. But you're not going to be able to make all double standards go away just because you want to do what you want to do. Do what you want to do, and then own everything that come with that, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Right, and I
told them you knew that was
Yeah.
gonna come with that.
but my critique is that society changes, and at some point she's advocating for that change. So when we talk about what's empowering, she's advocating to change the way you look at her. So yes, that might be the existence right now of like, we judge hoes or sluts or whatever, we treat them with disrespect because you're a hoe, but she's literally that's what the slut walk is about. It's like, stop shaming me. She's trying to create change.
Stop doing shameful shit.
You not getting it?
Well, no. I think that Jess is.
She doesn't view it as shameful shit, and that's why she's trying to change
this the thing. This how I always look at, like, when motherfuckers is racist and shit, like, oh, that motherfucker racist, blah blah blah. All right, tell that motherfucker I said congratulations. Fuck him. That's his problem. I'm not about to get mad at somebody for having, just like she mad that we looking at her like she a hoe or this, that, and the other. She shouldn't be mad at us for having that. That's our problem. If we don't understand, like, the LGBT community, like, if you come across somebody that is on some, like, oh, this motherfucker is on some bullshit, he don't understand me, this, that, that's their problem. That ain't your problem. Now, unless he get violent or some shit, that's when it becomes, you know what I'm saying? Like, that should be illegal. Like, I don't think that you should be able to, you know, harm people because they live in a way that you don't agree with. That's illegal. Exactly. You shouldn't be able to do that. We are in a free country, you know what I'm saying? But we have rules and parameters, you know what I'm saying? So
we all need tough skin.
But at the end of the day, if you get offended by a motherfucker who don't have no control over your life, and they call you a derogatory word or whatever, if that make you fly off the handle, they won.
Maybe you're insecure about it because no matter who you are, somebody gonna not like that.
100%.
No matter how moral or high up or how low you think you are, it's people that don't like me because I'm Muslim. They just don't like it. They just don't like it. Yeah. I'm not about to sweat that. Okay, have a great day. At the end of the day, like, I'm gonna go do what I'm doing. I'm gonna go to Starbucks and get me a cafe.
And it
like, I'm good.
And then that ain't gotta necessarily be a religious thing or a sexual preference thing or whatever. It's people in this world that just don't like you because you. Because like, it's people who hate on, like, everybody that had a hater in their life. Somebody that was just like, why? And that's why I had to explain to my daughter. She in middle school going through the whole arc, doing that shit. But he this and that. And I'm like, look, if a motherfucker don't like you, that's their problem. Fuck them. But you know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta try to make people like you. You know what I'm saying? You a dope. That's why I tell my daughter, you dope as hell. You do your thing. If they don't like you, that's their problem. You know what I'm saying? Get with people who fuck with you or whatever. And if don't nobody fuck with you, fuck all of them. We can find some other friends and shit. Fuck them people.
And I wish the world was like that, because that's how it's supposed to be. Like, society didn't change to make everybody think one way. Like, if
everybody want to feel inclusive.
Yeah, and like, you can't. Like, then you take away our right to have our own opinion of anything because you want me to accept this and I gotta accept that and I gotta treat you this way. So that means I can't have my opinion. So I like what you said. Like, if they don't like it, okay, that's on them. Move on. Like, it ain't that deep. Like,
unless it infringes upon someone's rights, and I think that's what you're saying.
No,
like,
you
can't.
That's wrong. Like, if I saw a gay person, like I hate, like,
Lance don't even know the terms though.
Right, I don't. Like, when I be watching TV and shit,
Lance is
and I see
That's better than last time I was here, though, because
Yeah,
what did he say
I
last time?
understand it.
Flaming hot Cheeto or
understand
something.
Polynomials.
But see, like, but when you watching
Polyomio.
TV shows and shit, you get to some scenes, I be like, what the fuck? And I turn it, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, turn my head, like, I don't nobody want to see this shit. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I'm saying.
Not- like, who the fuck, you know what I'm saying? That happens a lot nowadays because they pushing that shit on people. But I'm like, why is this shit in here? Like, it's been shows that I stopped watching.
Mhm.
What was the name of that shit? Like, I watched 30 seconds of P Valley.
Oh
It
man,
was
you
like,
missing
oh
out.
fuck no.
You gotta try.
I'm
one more
not missing
time.
shit.
You gotta
Fuck
try
P
one more
Valley.
time.
Oh, he mad.
What's the other one? Empire. Empire. I watched that
was
first season of that. Then after that, I was like, oh fuck this. You know what I'm saying? It's just certain shit that you don't want to.
Y'all
You
gotta
gotta watch
understand,
what you bring in your soul.
Lance is
You know
a
what I'm saying?
thug out here. In these
I ain't no
streets.
thug.
But no, I get
Yes,
what
he
he's
is.
saying though.
Lance is a thug.
I ain't no
Because
thug.
it's like I don't want that. I don't want certain things forced down my throat. Like
Right.
I'm tired of seeing all these supposed to be high schoolers on these TV shows having sex. I'm tired of like the 16 and pregnant. I don't want to see that no more. Like we should not be rooting for 16 and pregnant. I don't want to
It's
keep
gonna
seeing
happening,
the
though.
Because
the
it's
unnecessary
coming
stuff.
because the P. That's why the alphabet is going with all them letters and letters and letters because they get
They
to the
dropped
P.
Wow.
They
The
dropped-
P is coming,
No, it's
and that's why we
So you
keep
lost-
seeing
you
all
lost
this
Jess.
shit.
Pedophilia. He's saying
yeah.
that LGBT
Oh, yeah,
advocacy
right.
will lead to pedophilia.
That's what
That is.
I'm telling y'all, it's coming.
We
It's gonna
said this
be.
last time.
They gonna have some bullshit in the courts where this you
That's
you know
gonna
what
be
I'm
a sexual orientation,
It's gonna be a
and you're
fucking
not gonna
sexual
be able to
orientation.
refute. Well, that's the way I was born, and
That's
I
how
feel this way.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
because we're saying everything's inclusive, I'm still in that. This is where the slippery slopes get slippery and slopery because
Right.
that's what happens. That's what happens.
Because that's where I was just saying that's where the shit is coming. We gonna get it, the trains are gonna collide one day, and it's gonna be some shit, and it's gonna be a real all right America, what the fuck we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? And that shit coming, and I feel sorry for the children.
Man, that's a lot.
I'm for real. That
like
shit
you,
coming.
like yeah. I
We
guess
know,
it's
like the
slippery
Epsteins.
slope.
Like Epstein and all these motherfuckers with these islands and shit. This motherfucker hung himself in jail with.
You don't believe that.
Listen, this nigga hung himself in jail with the camera and all of that off, and there ain't nobody seen shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, what
He
was
ain't
the
even-
excuse for that camera? Because they purposely told
The
everybody.
excuse was that
they
the
showed
camera
the
was this
camera.
nigga about to die. Turn that shit off.
No, that was the real reason. I need the
Yeah,
excuse that
that's
they
what
gave
happened.
us.
This nigga about to
Because
die.
that
It
shit
was
look
under
like
maintenance.
you see that shit in the movie where they're like, all right, the camera is gonna go out for 3.5 seconds. You got exactly 3.5 seconds to do what you do,
Yeah.
and you don't never think you gonna see that shit happen in real life.
Man,
And then you get on, they show up on NBC and they're like,
they put him in the
that camera
suicide
fucked up
cell.
for like
That shit
15
about Sarah
minutes.
Flynn. I don't believe it.
No, that was terrible.
I don't believe she.
That was so like.
Hell no, she ain't killing herself. That was just.
Well, let me pivot
That's
because
bullshit.
I don't want us to get too far off of the subject, right? Jess, you disagree with Lance about the P.
Oh, well, I think it's a harmful narrative as someone who identifies with the alphabet soup. I am not attracted to children. And so when you make those assertions, you're assuming that folks who might identify on the spectrum might eventually push that envelope. And I think that it just is a harmful narrative. That would be my critique.
This is what it is with me. You probably don't like children. It's probably most of y'all are adults and do adult shit, but it's a segment of the population that's riding
That's
y'all
gonna ride
train,
that coattail. Yep.
and it's gonna jump on that track.
Okay.
But
Because
I
because
would,
a married couple just came out and said that the kids they adopted, two gay men, they adopted, they were actually having sex with those boys and teaching them, like, so they
Right.
just caught a case for that.
Right.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
saw that.
so it's
I
not
saw
an
that.
accusation of each individual in the LGBT
Yeah,
and
that's
saying each individual in the will advocate or will
Yeah.
appreciate or will like it. What we're saying is that culturally and environmentally, when we talk about the law of the land, when we talk about what becomes acceptable in terms of the law, that's what he's talking about, the writing underneath that umbrella, because that's an umbrella, that's an avenue where these particular individuals that do advocate that and that do want to do that can kind of slip in underneath and say, but we're part of that too, even if the rest of the community be like, we not on that. And be like, well, y'all may
we
not be
using
on
this
it, but
logic,
we're
though.
using
We using
the
y'all
precedent that was set
Yeah.
so that we can do what we
Like
want
the
to
And
do.
I
Dwayne
agree.
Wade.
Well, I agree. I think that the logic makes sense. I'm not saying the logic is flawed. I think that the narrative is harmful because the same could be said for the civil rights movement. Actually, advocacy and changing laws to be inclusive of more people and to it started there. So we could say the same logic because the LGBT movement took inspiration from the civil rights movement to advocate for rights. So now, like, when you don't want to associate that with the civil rights movement, though, because you recognize the harm in the narrative there, but not when we're talking about LGBT people, because you don't associate the harm to that community.
Good one. That was a good one. But fuck that.
But she did acknowledge you acknowledge the logic in it, though.
Yeah, I said the logic.
Because
I
it did
understand
rise
the
under the
logic,
civil rights
but I
movement.
think
But-
the narrative is
Yes,
harmful.
and that's why they termed it civil rights rather than our rights.
Right.
Because you have to now give rights to the civilians of a country, and that's everybody, not just
A
black
particular
people.
group.
Yeah. But the thing about the civil, like, I'm with y'all giving laws that saying that just like we, the civil rights, we can't discriminate and can't, not, cause I'm not with the bathroom shit. Like, if you was born a girl, you go to the fucking girls' bathroom.
You talking about the right to marry,
Yeah, but I'm
have
saying,
access to
like,
all
but
the
like
legal.
the marriage,
Ain't nobody
the
saying
legal-
like you
the
can't
legal-
work or something.
Yeah, the
The
legal
marriage.
advantages that you get of having a marriage and the institution of marriage.
Yeah,
I
but
would
it's
like
certain
to send
shit.
my 12-year-old son to the men's restroom if we're out by ourselves. I make him, to this day, come into the women sometimes, or I stand outside because I feel like it's perversion in the restroom is scary with grown men in there with him. I think that sometimes.
You make them come in with bathroom with you?
I did.
Well, how old is he though?
I mean, when my husband isn't around, like if he's
How
out with me in
old,
public,
though?
he's 12.
Oh hell no! That boy better go. Take that boy to the no, nigga. What?
Why are you taking him to the bathroom at that
Yeah,
time?
yeah.
Tell him to go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
All right,
he
we gotta have a
goes.
talk after
You
the
can
show.
stand
We gotta
outside
have a talk
to,
after the show.
if he yell for you or
12?
something.
At
But
the mall or something like, I don't know who in that damn bathroom. I don't know. I'm
look
like,
here.
let's come in here. This woman's gonna be all right.
But we know that women are also
Women are
predatory
predatory.
towards young men.
Oh,
okay. You're the protector. Okay.
That's called
12 is a little old. 12
Hold
is
on.
You gotta let your baby boy go. Let him go. You turned it into a man. Damn.
I think I'm doing
They
right.
can't hear
Nah,
us.
you doing wrong.
They can't hear us if we all talk at the same time. Right? How tall is this young man?
6'2".
Because he don't look.
Okay, that's not answering the question.
How
He
tall
don't look
is he?
12 though. I can tell you.
You see him on social media.
No. How tall is he?
How old he look?
About 16.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, if you don't let this boy go to the bathroom,
Like no little
Wait.
12-year-old.
I'm curious. How tall is he for real?
He's literally like probably 5'5".
So taller than me.
Yeah, I'm 5'6". Shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you might have to let him go to his
Go,
own
let that
restroom.
boy go to the
I'm
fucking
thinking about that
bathroom.
time to start transitioning, but I'm just saying.
It's been that time. It's been that time for a long
For so
time.
long, I was just like, really, I had this thing because I've been molested. I'm just saying, it's something that's just my trauma that
Right.
I'm probably putting
Okay.
on my
Pushing
child.
that shit on
Like
him,
where I feel like he in the restroom with these grown men and his penis is
Yeah.
out here. I'm like, hell no, I don't like it.
do you know how fast men use the bathroom?
I mean, right, but people who want to use bathroom,
Things
get out.
happen
You got some
fast.
who are like, oh, you got to pee.
I'm saying, but when you take him in the restroom with you, like
Don't that
the
put
rest
him
of the
in
people
danger?
gonna be like, dang, he kind of big.
Right. Women don't, because a lot of women think like I think too. I'm just saying, like some women who think perversion sometimes, you know, or something like that. They just like they never feel it way. They kind of like, oh hey,
You don't let him
he
sit
go right to the
down,
store.
do you?
No, he go to a store, and I'm standing outside the wait, just waiting, and then he goes. Like
He's
I can't go to the
standing
men's restroom.
Standing
like,
outside the stall or standing outside
No,
the
I'm
bathroom?
standing outside of the while he's in the stall by himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to
You
say,
should
don't
make
send him in there.
piss on the floor.
What?
Piss all over the floor.
He low key be like, all the women in here, like you know.
That's interesting. Like, how does he feel about
He
like?
don't
Like
like
if you
he
said
feels
he's
weird.
5 or
He
6
does
or
like
something.
Yeah,
all
little
the
kid is
time.
one
Hey,
thing.
because I don't feel okay.
But
if I
I'm
walk
grown,
into any
Mom.
public bathroom and I don't see
But
no
not for real,
urinals,
he's not
bro.
grown.
You forcing me to a stall right now?
Look,
That's
I ain't got a
so
boo
really,
boo.
what I do is I sometimes what I would do, and I would find like a restroom that says family restroom.
But it's not a lot of those too, so it's like I get it.
homie.
Not, that's too old. That's too old.
That is
Hey, I would've been fighting you
He
at
tells
this
me, he
point.
said, "Mom, getting older now, okay?" I'm like, "Okay," so I'm like, "But just go on in there, and come back out. Don't stay there too long unless you got to."
Nah, he can handle himself, man. Like you can.
They just start walking to school by themselves, so I'm
Oh, this nigga walking to school. You let him walk to school by himself.
But he can't go pee? But he can't go
But
pee.
he can't go
He
pee.
can walk in
with
public,
his sister y'all
up
walk
and down the
together.
street. So his
They ain't
sister
no
is...
hold his sister.
But he the one got to protect
Oh,
the sister.
right,
She
that's
not looking
bad.
after him.
I wouldn't feel too much like
Yeah,
protecting
you
nobody
wrong.
if I
Sorry,
got
hold on. Listen, this
You
thing-
goofy
we
as
used to
hell
have
for
to-
that.
We used to let them start like doing stuff.
That's some
in
goofy
school all the
ass
time.
shit.
Like time has changed. Pedophiles.
You know,
sorry.
but you know what? I like.
That's a wild.
It
Nah, you
sounds
can't put
crazy,
your
but
child
I
down.
get when y'all like in that mindset, like I gotta protect my kids. Like it was one point when like my mama, her car like it wasn't working. She would literally catch the bus with me and my brother to school and then take herself on the bus back
sex
home.
offenders in your neighborhood.
Like-
seriously.
Yeah,
I get it, but
that's good. Yeah,
Nah,
Nah,
I mean
man,
that's
for sure.
get on that bus.
But
I'm about to go
what I'm saying
home.
is, I'm in a phase right now. Like I said, I'm releasing that. Like where I'm aware. Like okay, my
You
kids
are-
are getting older. I understand. Like what I'm saying. I'm not like trying to shelter them. Like he'll be 13 this year. She just turned 11. I'm kind of like. They got a key to the home. I'm like starting to release, like but it's still, it's a parent.
It's something
You know,
that every
sometimes
mama
it
go
just-
through. It's
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, yo, every mama got that one thing they like, no, I need you to do this up until this
Right.
age so I can have a peace of mind.
And also trusting their judgment. You know your child. You know if they're mature enough for
He
certain
still got
things.
to ride in the
whatever.
back seat with the seatbelt on.
No, he ride in the front seat. You think-
Yeah, if you let him ride in the front seat,
This her one
let
thing.
that
She
boy
like, no, I
use
want to
the
make
damn
sure this.
bathroom. Where y'all be at?
You
Like,
know
what
it is?
type of places you
know
be
what it
at?
is?
Where
You know
you-
what really scared me with the bathroom stuff because he told me we see a bathroom in school. I'm like, they just be exposed to so much stuff though. Like, you see same kids kissing and stuff, and you in freaking 7th grade, like
Hey, bro,
like same sex
how
kids in
wild
school.
is
All kind of
school
stuff
now?
happen in school.
School
Like,
is wild as
it's
hell
scary,
now. My
sad.
wife, she
Yeah,
works, she a
been
counselor
wild.
at a school, and these kids, these kids
been
today
wild.
exposed to a lot of
is going through some shit.
I
We
learned
call
everything
schools
I know.
gladiator
from school.
academies.
That's I'm talking
I feel like
about
it's always
state
been a
down.
little
It's
wild.
always been like
I mean,
that. I feel like it's getting
yeah.
more. But it's
I
always
used to
been
read
wild.
Eric Jerome Dickey. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't online. I wasn't seeing it, but I was reading.
Or you was hearing about
it.
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
Yeah.
Hey, I couldn't stand Zane, dog.
Mhm.
That was the
I
most
like
annoying.
I was
Zane.
reading it, feeling
I was reading it. I'm
I
like,
was reading it.
All them little
I
good
remember
books, I'm
reading
like-
it in the
She did what?
Yes. What is happening?
Like,
oh my
ooh,
God, I didn't know this was so
is
visible.
this what it's like?
Hey, I knew it was a problem in the 8th grade when the social studies teacher, the English teacher asked us to do a book report. And the first thing she put on the board was no book reports on Zane. That was the first, and I was like, wait, who is
Who told? Somebody snitched.
Because she wouldn't even know.
Somebody
what that was.
snitched.
It was nobody
Well, if
snitched.
she's reading book reports about it, don't nobody want to read that as an English teacher. I was an English
Also-
teacher.
Also, if you see most
So
of
you
your
know
8th grade
about
girls
school.
not reading
Yeah.
for 6 months out of the year, then they all got the same book.
Well, listen, I wanna. I got one more question. Did y'all have fun?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
very
I
much.
want to
so.
give.
So slippery.
Well, let me do
Right.
a little bit of
I like
housekeeping.
slippery slopery.
Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I want to give Crimson, my illustrious guest from Chicago, the last word, and then we're gonna get out of here. Crimson, you got any additional thoughts before we get up out of here, love?
Additional thoughts. Just gonna put me on Front Street. Okay. Well, first of all, I did have fun with everybody. I liked the discussion. I liked the vibe. That we were all able to get out what we wanted to get out respectfully. And that's what I appreciate. And that's why I accepted this invitation in the first place, because I know Anton's going to have that type of environment. Um, the next thing that I'm going to say is I think that these types of conversations are important because it gives everybody an opportunity to sort of step out of what they know or what they think or their comfort zone, to include other people's opinions, whether you agreed with it at the end of the day or you continue to disagree with it. I think it's important because we need to know why we agree or disagree with a certain thing, rather than just saying or accepting something because it's culturally okay or rejecting something because it's culturally not okay. And we get to understand, okay, I don't agree with that, but I know why I don't agree with that. Or I do agree with that and I know why I agree with that. So I think it's important because we all coming from different places. We're different ages. We got different backgrounds and different experiences. So I like this. I think that it's important that we have these different conversations. So I enjoyed myself. I appreciate it.
What I'm going to do, as usual, is I'm going to put everybody's social media, Instagram, and make sure you follow Crimson Cure. Make sure you subscribe to her channel because we absolutely love Crimson and she's doing some phenomenal work over there. But make sure you follow her, and then I'm putting everybody's social media inside of the description. So follow all of my friends. Make sure that you show them some love. Tell them where it is that you found them at over there at Anton from AntonDaniels.com. And we're going to get it popping. And so y'all did say y'all had fun this time.
Yeah.
Dude, all right, what do y'all think about the conversation today versus how it is that we usually have these conversations?
I want more of this. I like this.
This was great.
Maybe we need to leave a candle on the table. Just a candle. Just a candle.
You think that's what it was?
I had to listen. I have so much. Now this ain't no shade to y'all, but I have so much love and respect for Crimson because I know she doesn't smoke. I know she don't drink. That I had to curate the spot to be a little bit more conducive to, ensuring that she can.
I appreciate that.
I already
That
followed
is
her,
great.
and I already knew, so I
I
already knew it was gonna be a dry night. She got dope content. She really does do great content.
So listen, we're gonna get up out of here. I don't want to keep my friends out too late. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel and visit all of my friends and their social media inside of the description. We out.